어디 가려고?
그냥 산책?
야, 이걸 촬영하면 어떡하노? 시간 그것도 안 했는데. 안 되지. 이불 입고 보고. 안 되지. 정우가,
어디 가는데요?
교회 가야지. 정우가,
응?
네 추어탕 신라.
추어탕은 별로.
엄청 맛있는 추어탕인데.
한번 생각해볼게요.
아이고, 그것도 안 했는데, 사진 찍으면 어떡하노?
산책 갔다 올게요.
갔다 오네.
So, I came to Korea last year, 2020 March. I was gonna go to a new job. So I put a resignation letter in middle of March. And then US usually you put 2 weeks notice, but at the time I heard my dad was sick. The doctors couldn't figure it out what the root cause was. So I was like, okay, then I'm gonna put, instead of 2 weeks notice, I'm gonna put 2 day notice. And then I immediately came back to Korea to check my dad's health. So we went to several different hospitals. They couldn't figure it out. They're just like, oh, something's wrong with your heart, but you just need to be hospitalized and then we'll do more in-depth check. But it was funny that they couldn't really figure it out, the root cause. By that time, I was like, well, we need to go to a bigger hospital. I made an appointment for my dad and came back to the US and started my new job. He went to the university hospital, and then for them it even like took months to figure out what the root cause was. They're doing multiple tests, and then they finally found out that it was amyloidosis. And after they found out the root cause and then the disease, my mom and dad start to like ask about what this disease is, how to get cured. I, I, I think the doctor at the time, they already told him that already a little bit late, that they need to decide very soon. Whenever I talk to him, his face is getting like skinnier and skinnier. I thought he still had some time. End of August, I got a call from my mom that like, Park, you should come to Korea very soon. When can you come? After Labor Day in September, and that night, Tuesday night, I got a second call from my mom. She was crying and, can you come to Korea as soon as possible? Your dad had just had a second heart attack and he's about to pass away, and right now he's in 연명치료, life support. And as soon as I heard that, I started to cry and I wasn't able to think. Ijang immediately started to pack. I was looking up the flight ticket and I couldn't buy it. It was very difficult to think at that time. Fortunately, there was a flight from Boston to Hong Kong and Hong Kong to Incheon, leaving in 3 hours. So I immediately bought that ticket and Ijang and I flew to Korea. My aunt picked us up from the airport and we went to a hospital. Immediately went to ICU and I saw my dad. He was just on a lot of medication and then he was a lot of a machine, basically life support. And then you can see the tubes going into his nose and mouth. And his eyes were really yellow with a lot of boogers. And when I said, when I said that I'm here, When I said that I'm here, he smiled, and I said, Ijang is here, and he smiled too, but his eyes were like he can barely open his eyes. He looked really bad. I was so shocked. I didn't cry at that time, but after I seen him, because in ICU you can only see the patient for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's it. And after that, I came out. All the cousins were there. My mom. We just didn't know what to do. And then the next day, met with the resident, and then he's just saying that he's in very critical condition. All you need to decide is continue to life support or when to stop the life support. It was very difficult at that time because in order to stop the life support, the patient himself needs to agree that it's okay to stop the life support, but because he was on the medication, he was not able to communicate, and the direct family needs to sign that we can stop the life support. My grandparents were still alive, and then they were not aware of the situation at all. And I also have to get a signature from my mom, and I have to get a signature from me and myself and my brother. So there are a lot of conflicts of interest, and we all have to agree that we need to stop the life support. And imagine your parents and you are stopping the life support on your child, and your partner and you're stopping the life support. It's basically like I was definitely feeling you're killing your dad, you're killing your partner, you're killing your child. So at that time, I have to do two things. How are we gonna decide on the life support? And how are we gonna tell grandparents? Because they will need to know. They need to say goodbye to my dad before he really passes away. Number one was really hard because my mom need to make a decision. And she still had a hope he may survive. But to me, I kind of knew as soon as the life support is off, then he's gonna pass away. And the decisions were really flipped a lot. It was a very difficult decision to make. Ah, it's cold. Let's go. 그냥 놀이터 밥해요.
어?
밥해요.
밥 있는데 춥지?
배가 춥네. 뭐 해요, 그러면 지금?
밥 있는데 혹시 또 해놓는다.
이게 무슨 나무라고요?
이거 무슨 나무?
편백.
편백. 하고 놀았으면 여름에 마지막 여름을 여기서 보내는 거야.
그 마지막을 나도 있었으면 얼마나 좋았겠노, 엄마.
아이고 있어도 안타까운 거고 있어도 힘들고.
그래도 그 있는 게 훨씬 더 좋았지 않았겠나.
아이고 안 좋네.
We are here to see my dad. We bought so many fried chicken for the people who live here. So we're gonna have chicken together and I'm gonna say hi to my dad. 이거 좀 무거워서.
갔다 와볼게.
제가 같이 가면 돼요. 산에 오니까 더 춥다, 엄마.
그래 산이라서 춥다. 이렇게 가야지. 백이네.
가을에도 꽃이 피네.
단풍나무 봐라.
저 중앙에 묻었죠. 여기. So it was very heavy feeling. at that time, because of that situation, because we have to make a decision when to stop the life support, the doctor, she allowed us to go to see my dad every day so that we can make a decision. It was very nice of her, but at the same time, it was very hard because every time I go there and then encounter my dad, I just crying. I was just sobbing. I couldn't really talk with him because I was crying too much. But every time I go see him, he was like somehow he was getting better. Like his eyes are coming back. He was getting conscious. He was able to communicate with like writing. So somehow we were able to figure out how to communicate. So he was writing. We asked questions, so he was able to comprehend what we were saying, listen to what we were saying, and then he started to write it on like iPad. But the hardest question to ask to him as a son was, "Hey, Dad, when do you want to stop life support?" Can you ask? Can you ask your parents, when do you want us to stop your life, basically? But it was so hard because my dad was smiling, but he was also crying. We finally have the grandparents to come check him. My mom, my brother, and I, we all went into ICU, and he asked my mom and brother leave the ICU. He asked me, he didn't speak, but he wrote down like what's my condition, and I did say you are on life support, you're on ECMO, and you're also doing dialysis. I think he asked my brother and my mom leave because they're definitely not telling the truth. So I think he asked me so that I think he trusted me that I was gonna tell the truth. Then I would ask him, hey, I know you really, it was so hard to ask this question. We are in discussion when to stop the life support. So I did ask him, when do you want to stop the life support? He asked me the last question. I will never forget about this. He asked me, hey, can you get like apple juice or orange juice? I'm really thirsty. And I said, I will go get it. Then I left ICU. I shared with my family that he want to stop the life support tomorrow. I forgot to get apple and orange juice. And that's one thing I still regret. And then because he said it, I think my mom finally understood and she decided to let it go. And I think it was Sunday. And then we finally decided to take out the life support. The doctor declared he actually passed away, and then the time it was so. I kind of laughed because he actually died on my birthday. The doctor declared my dad's death at 4:24. And after that, it kind of became like right back to reality. If the family member wanna get the body, then they have to pay the bill. And then because life support is expensive and it's not insurance covered, one time I did check, it was about 10K. And I couldn't even tell my best friends. I didn't have any bandwidth to talk with my friends at the time. It was already overwhelming for me to balance all the situations there, coordinate all the talking, communications. One of my best friends actually called every funeral place and tried to find out where my dad was having funeral. So they finally found out, and then they came over. I'm like, I was very shocked because I like, how did you guys find this out? Like, I didn't tell you. And then they still came over, and then it was very touching. And after that I think I decided to come back to Korea. And after all the funeral, it became reality again. You have to report that he actually passed away to City Hall. You have to do all the finances. You have to close his bank account. We have to talk to a lawyer. So basically, in a process of removing him in the real life, that was also difficult too. 야, 니 진짜 시끄럽다. 왜 이렇게 시끄러워요? 왜 이렇게 시끄러워요? 왜 이렇게 시끄러워요?
앉아. 앉아. 손. 손 내미. 손도 준다. 네가 좀 앉아. 손 내가 하나씩.
알았어. 자, 여기로 와. 자, 여기로 와. 앉아. 자.
엎드려.
자.
엎드리라며 엎드린다. 엎드리고 난리다. 엄청 살쪘지?
아빠 잘 살고 있으니까 걱정 말고요. 아빠 내년에 보자.